Hi Flosstube, I'm Jennifer. I'm also Ladybug Jen _ Stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. Welcome to my first Flosstube. My channel will be mostly about cross stitch, but a few other hobbies be thrown in here and there, and life, because I am a mom and I have two precious boys. I hope you enjoy what you find here today and like and subscribe to my channel. And let's dig in. First, let's talk about some previous finishes. The first one is going to be, this is the O insert to the home from Stitching with the Housewives. I stitched this on Black Aida with sulky thread. So that's the 12 weight sulky thread, and you just replace the O with different designs for each month. Okay, my next previous finish I wanted to share is my first Biscornu. This is one of the monthly minis from Primrose Cottage's 12 monthly minis booklet. This is May, and so I stitched this on 18 count. I stitched just the top, and then for the bottom I just stitched the corners again, and then I put it together with just the green and sewed on a button that I actually found from my mom's stash. So, but it turned out really cute. It's so little. For comparison, it like fits in your palm. The next one I want to share is from a celebration of life, I think it is, by Hands On Design. This is the first pattern series that she did for the month, so this is May. This is stitched on 28 count Monaco, 2 strands over 2 squares with the DMC called for. I know a lot of people don't like Monaco, but Monaco is actually probably my favorite fabric to stitch on because I'm an in-hand stitcher. So, the next one I want to share is May from, it's called Snapshot May from Pine Mountain Designs. And this is stitched on Vintage Country Mocha 14 count, I believe. All that called for. So I have all of these completed minus December. So I did really good last year, getting one done a month, and then in December I just fell right off of the wagon. But I'll get it finished this year, hopefully. Okay, so that's a few of my previous finishes that I wanted to share. So April was a really successful stitching month for me. I have quite a few FFOs. So my first FFO is from Shannon Christine, A Pot of Gold, and it's stitched on Platinum 32 count linen by Digi Stitchery. So here's my finish, and here's a close-up of the stitching. I use all the called for colors, and then that is like a metallic gold there to shine a little bit. So, and then I just finished it with some fabric and Rick Crack from my stash. And there's purple, and then I gave it its stitches. I'll put a patch on the back eventually, but I didn't get around to that just yet. So, it'll be cute in a little dough bowl with something in front of it. Okay, my next finish is St. Patrick's Day by Primrose Cottage. This was their free monthly stitch for the month of March, I believe. I stitched this on Potato, 32 count, or 25 count Logana in the color Potato, with all the color called for DMC. So, cute little stitch. It's kind of washing it out there, isn't it? And then the same on the back, just gave it its stitches. Alright, and the last FFO that I want to share for now is Spring Carrots. This is a design by Irish Naps Designs. It was a free pattern, I guess I found on her website. And it's stitched on Chubby Bunny Gray from Digi Stitchery, 16 count Ada. You can see the little bunnies there on the back. Digi Stitchery is a printed fabric, so she just prints designs on the front and you can use them. So those are those long stitches. They looked good until I ironed them, and then now they look kind of wonky, but it's another cute little pillow, and I just did yellow on the back. All right, so now let's move on to whips. So like I said, it was a really successful month for me. So I played Springo. I didn't decide to play Springo until after I had already decided what projects I wanted to work on in the month of April. So I kind of just made the letters work with whatever I had already decided. So here's my board, my Springo board, and I just randomized my number placement and however I wanted, and I just got some stickers from my stash because paper crafts was my first hobby. So I have tons of stickers, so I just picked something from my stash, and you'll see I got one Springo here, and then finally another one here going down. So my project for S was my strawberry quilt from Primrose Cottage. I stitched it on 32 count even weave by Fabric Flair, actually the called for, and this ended up being a start and a finish, so a staff. And I stitched it with the DMC called for colors. And you'll see I have a little strain here because I'm new to stitching on Lugana and linen, and I accidentally pressed too hard when I was pushing out that corner, and it just pushed a hole right in it. But I'm gonna make some type of pin to go in there with probably a bow or maybe a strawberry or something. But that's my little finish for my berry basket. And then my next project I worked on is called Peacock Feathers by Carolyn Manning Designs. I'm stitching this on chalkboard black with all the called for colors. In the month of April, I added 1,176 stitches for a total of 25.1%. So a soft goal of mine for 2025 was to get all my whips to 25%. So, in on a little secret, I have over 100 whips. I have a problem with starting whips, but I have lots of finishes too, so it's fine, right? Who's counting? So this is where I am on that one. I'm really, really liking the colors and how that's coming out. It looks so cool. So yeah, I'm going to put this back in its bag so I can stay a little organized. All right, the next thing I worked on was Primrose Cottage's stitching trio, that they just came out with for, I think they said that they had it at a retreat and then they just released it. So this is what I worked on next. And I did do the bag. So this is the bag. I stitched it with all the called for DMC Pearl cottons. And it turned out really cute. I really like the final product, but I don't know if I would stitch on a bag again. It was not that enjoyable for me. I did do the sewing method, which was easier. I did stitch some upside down. I did stitch some right side up. But I do love how it turned out. So that's really cute. Now I can use it. Now that I've shown you guys, I get to use it. The next one I did from that trio was another Biscornu. And I had gotten the finishing pack. So I have the little yellow button. Guys, look at this little clear bag that button came in. It is so cute. I couldn't throw it away. It's just so precious. It's such a treasure. But here's the Biscornu. I don't know what they did on the bottom of theirs. I couldn't really see, so I just stitched the corners again and then tucked it together. I fill my Biscornus with crushed walnuts. So it gives them a little bit of weight and some firmness. But I'll just stick this in a bowl in my, probably in my craft room / office. And then the next one that I started from that trio is the Home Stitch Home. I'm going to put it up here on my board. So I outlined the house, and then I worked on filling it in, and then I went over here and I did the flowers, and then I finished the grass, and so I'm just kind of working on filling it all in. I did 810 stitches on this, and I'm at 59.65%, so it's almost a finish. And then I'll finish it into a pillow just like the Primrose Cottage Girls did. So I'm using all the called for fabric, floss, and stuff for that set. Alright, so the next one I worked on it's called I Am Groot, and it's by Creatively Crafting. And I stitched this for my oldest son. His name is Charlie. He's 7. And I decided this year, since I have 2 now, I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old, that I wanted to do an ornament every year for Christmas for them. So I'm trying to pay a little bit of catch up. So this one I actually finished the back stitch on last night, and he turned out so cute. So I'll just do like a flat fold ornament style for him and finish him up. He turned out really cute. Really, really happy with how he came out. So cute. Alright. The next one I worked on was another one from the 12 monthly minis. I worked on April. My goal this year is to finish all the months, and so I'm trying to do the month in the month. So this was a start and a finish, so FFO. Or no, I'm sorry, a staff, a start and a finish. So here's May. Call for colors, and I did this on 25 count vintage country mocha. I'm trying to make it as big as I could, so it wasn't too tiny of a pillow. And just the back there, I need to put a flower or something on. So there's that finish and for that letter. And then the next spring go item I worked on was Marigold Mornings by Carol Manning Designs. Here's the picture. Such pretty colors. She has some really cool designs on her website. So there's that one. And where I worked on this for 3 days in April, I got 840 stitches, and I'm at 12.5%. So I almost got that bottom square completed out of the 9. So again, my goal this year is to do 25% on all my projects. So we might see this one again this year. Just try to get to that goal. So there's that one. The next one I worked on was Hello Spring from Erin Elizabeth Designs. This one was actually in a magazine whenever it first came out. It's now been released on her site. It was a PDF along with all the other seasons. But I used the pattern from the magazine. I think it was Cross Stitch magazine. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But I did this on 32 count Belfast vintage country mocha. I really like vintage country mocha too. The white just pops so good. This was my first project doing linen, so I'm pretty happy with it. I had to stitch in a hoop, which is fine because I have a Lowry stand, but the colors, Erin is so good with her colors. Just looks amazing. And I just finished it on a soft pink, and this was just some frame that I had in my stash, and it fit perfect. So, and I did do the magnets on this so I can change it out for each month. So those are all the Spring Go items that I worked on in April. So now let's talk about we're going to talk about Whip Go. I am playing Whip Go, and to do my Whip Go board, the projects that I chose were all my projects that had the least amount of project on them. So I have them all in a spreadsheet, so I just filtered them with the lowest percentage, and that's how they got added to my board. So this one for this month was Whip Go number 4. I worked on it for 3 days. I added 795 stitches, and I'm at 5.47%. And this is called the Best of the Office Quotes from Stitch Area. Okay, and here's where I am. Not too far. Oh, wrong way. This is one that I'm kind of doing for my husband. I don't know if he knows about it or not, but he was a latecomer to this series, but he really liked it, and it's like referenced everywhere. Like we see it all the time, and I'm like, what is that from? He's like, oh, it's from The Office. I'm like, oh, okay. So that one's fun. But you can see I didn't get to my goal of 25%, so we might see that one again also in 2025. So the next Whip Go was Whip Go number 10, and my Whip Go number 10 was my Halloween Quaker by Primrose Cottage. Here's the pattern and what it looks like. And I'm stitching this on 25 count vintage country mocha and all the called for colors. I'm really close. I'm at 72.43%. You would think I didn't have that much, but these Quakers down here in the bottom are just so stitch heavy. So that spider web was a beast to stitch, but it is absolutely my favorite part of this whole stitch. It looks great. So yeah, it was hard to count because it's 25 count, so it's over 2. I'm newer to the over 2 count stitching, so it's turning out really good. I do want to finish that, so I have it in my plans for May, which we'll talk about when we get to the planning. Always got stuff going on, right? Always more plans, more stitching, not enough time, hundreds of patterns. All right, so the next thing I worked on was Anytown Tiny Town from Heart and Hand. Oh, wrong way. Oh, it's so cute. It has the little kitty here, and it says keepsakes. I'm not in Ohio, so I ended up just doing the flag version, which is like this version with the little flag. So that's really cute. So I worked on this for 3 days. I did 1,097 stitches, and I'm at 25.88%. So I met my goal of 25%. So I've been starting a new tiny town every month this year, just so that I can have them all on the go, so that one day I can have them all. So I want to finish them in the little drum. I've never done a drum finish, but it's really cute. I really like that type of finish. So that's my goal for whenever those are finished. All right, the next whip that I worked on is When I Think of, and this is When I Think of April by Puntini Puntini. This is what it looks like. So it's the month and just like different things that you might think about whenever you think about April. Really cute. Here's where I am. I worked on this for 1 day. It's a new start. 575 stitches, and I'm at 34.31%. So those eggs and the colors. Oh, so cute. So cute. So there's that one. And then the next one I worked on was my December snapshot that I haven't finished I just got a random hair. I was like, I don't know what I want to work on. So I just, I have a app and I just spin it's not really a wheel. It's just a random counter from 1 to 100. And it, picked 61. So I went to my whip stash and I pulled out 61. And this is 61. So I added 165 stitches and I'm at 75.2%. So I only worked on this one day, but I'm so close to a finish. Here's what it'll look like when it's done. I just gotta work on that chimney. Lots of stitch in there. A lot of full coverage in that chimney. These are a really cute series. I really like them. So here's where I am. I'll get it finished one day. No rush, right? All right. The next one I worked on was Penelope and Peeps by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, and it's from this book, Jelly Bean Jubilee, and it's this little one that says Easter. I saw Jordan the Tattoo Stitcher stitching this, and I was like, oh, that little bunny is so cute, and that blue is gorgeous. I have got to do that. So I ordered my booklet, and I'm just starting on this one. So here's where I am. Almost finished. Really, really close. I'm at 73.43%. I worked on it for 7 days. I did 1,829 stitches. So really close. But Easter is over, so I guess I'll put it away for the year and pick it back up next year. That's okay. She's so cute. I love her. That little bunny is just so cute. Alright, the next one I worked on is Maggie May. So I've seen so many versions of Maggie May that I keep trying to think, like, what do I want my Maggie May to look like? So I saw the Sweetwater Stitcher Jessica. She just used the call for colors in the pattern, but she just moved them around. So pink is my favorite color. And so I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And so I started her and did, you know, what the call for dress is where I started. And then once I was like finished with all the gray in the dress, I saw a different one that was different colors. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really like that one so much more. And so I had shown these to my mom, and my mom was like, oh, I love those crackers. I really, really like them. So I got this wild hair on Easter weekend, and I was like, I'm going to just finish up Maggie May and give it to my mom for Easter. Well, that didn't happen. I got over 1,000 stitches in her in 3 days, and I'm at 54.05%, so still got a ways. So if you don't know what she looks like, this is what she looks like. And this is where I am. So these are the call for colors. I just using the pink that was in her ear. I'm using it in her jacket and then in her shoes. Well, she's gonna be darling whenever she's finished. So can't wait to work on her again. I don't know when that'll be. It is gonna be in May. But we'll talk about plans soon. Okay. Now let's talk about treasures, the things that a little bit of the stash I added to my collections. So my husband stopped and grabbed me some B52 because Primrose uses B52 in all of their patterns, and I've been stitching a lot of their patterns lately, and so I was like, honey, I really need some B52. So he was in town, so he grabbed me some. And then I grabbed this pattern. This is the Feathered Friends. This is June. This one's by Emily Call. So what this is a collaboration with 12 different designers, and they each did a month. On the back here it lists who did what month. So cute. And then the little finishing board is from Paisleys and Polka Dots, the unfinished wood that comes. So that's cute. I'll have to start that. These are Primrose Flower Floss Drops. If you don't have any of these, you need some. I just write on them with a Sharpie, and then you can wipe them off with alcohol. These are great. Great. They're lightweight, but they're durable, and they are cute. They're beautiful colors. They're cute. Why not, right? Then I got some Lady Dot Creates Brick Rack in the color Licorice. It's like a charcoal gray. I'm always trying to find charcoal gray, and I could never find it. So I was like, well, I'll just have to order this and see if I like it. Then I got 2 more rolls of Monaco. This is the tea dye color. It's probably, like I said, this is probably my favorite fabric. I love stitching on that. And then I am part of the DigiStitchery Fabric of the Month. So this month we got the color Mossy, and I get 16 count Ada. And here's what it looks like. It's a green color. And again, this is that print she prints on her fabric. So really cool. I don't have any idea what I'll use this for, but something fun, I'm sure. So I'll just put that in my stash, in my fabric collection, and the perfect pattern will come along, right? All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about is plans for May. So in May, to do Maynia. I've done Maynia for the past few years, and the way that I do Maynia is I guess in 2023, I made a list. So I wrote down like the numbers of the month and then what project I worked on for the first. And then so what I do now is if I still have this whip as a whip from the previous year, I'll work on that one the same day in May. And that's just so that I don't start another 31 projects, because like I said, I already have over 100 whips and I don't need that many. I need to work on these. So that's where I get my Maynia plans. So here's my Stitch Maynia 2025. So I've listed all my projects here and the percentage that I'm at. I use the Markup RXP app, and so that's what gives me my percentages on where I am. So that's like my starting. I'm not going to show all the projects today. I did iron and take a picture of all of the projects, and I'm going to try to put them at the end of the video so y'all can see what they are and where they are if you're interested. Okay, so that's my Stitch Maynia plans. For Whip Go, we have 2 projects for Whip Go. This is my Whip Go number 5. I'm at 2%, and I would like for my goal to be 25%. This is Maple Lane by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was a mystery stitch along. Guys, I'm so far on this one. 2%, right? Not. This is pitiful. I started this in 2022, and I've stitched a coffee machine. Wow. So I'm not sure what this fabric is. It's from Be Stitch Me. I used to be in her Fabric of the Month club. So I got some work to do on this one, guys. I was looking at it earlier and I was thinking about maybe eliminating the name across the bottom and just doing the little town. So cute. The little people are so cute. The little dog. Oh, I love it. I need to work on it. That's with all of them, right? That's with all your whips. All right, and then my Whip Go number 19 is Our Father. And this is by Ann Makes Things. I was going to UFO this, but the colors are so pretty. I just couldn't. I love it too much to let it go. So I'm doing this one on Maple White Pine by Fabric Flair. Another one. So this is why Stitch Maynia, you stitch on the same project, you don't start a new one. Because you don't get very far in one day. So I have the bottom row done on that. So it's going to be a big one, guys. 190 tall. But that's a Fabric Flair, so that's a printed fabric also. But look at these colors. They're so pretty. Oh, so pretty. I love them. They're bright but muted. Woo! Can't wait to work on it. So that's my plans. Here's all my Stitch Maynia projects shoved in my box here, ready to go. So today's May 1st. I don't know when I'll get my video posted, but we got our first video done, guys. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be a part of the community. I can't wait to get to know more of you. And I guess that'll settle us for today. So if you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.